yesterday, you should have written unit rate on what is a unit rate. Who can tell me?
When something like grows equally, I guess you could say. Like if I buy an apple for $1, the next apple should cost $1 as well, so equal $2.
If it's a consistent unit rate, right? So unit rate. Now wait, how many apples did you buy?
2 apples.
Well, when you talked about the unit rate.
Oh, 1 apple costs $1. I bought 2 apples.
So you should have both sheets out, and you headed your white sheet with unit rate. If you didn't do it now, unit rate is the amount, dollars or time or whatever you want to talk about, amount per one. So there's a division involved. So it's going to be some amount per one. Like literally the result of a division. You can also put that on your orchid sheet if you want, right beside where it says this is your practice work. You could write a little note there that says unit rate is amount per one. So our unit rate, if we're talking about how fast we run, we might be talking about miles per hour or miles per minute or miles per second. But no matter what, the thing that comes after per is 1. Naomi? A simplified ratio. Yeah, so if we simplify it down to a 1 on the bottom. So we'll look at that today. So, with Robert's new hybrid car, it drives 420 miles. Again, one more time for the people that were late, maybe. Please make sure that you've written 420 miles on your paper because the hole punch did what it does and took away a number. And it does that in 12 gallons. Now, when we talk about the gas rate that a car uses, do we talk about gallons per mile or miles per gallon? Miles per gallon, right? So on your paper, make a note of MPG and underline or do something to that P. When you see rates like MPG or MPH or what, the P is your per, and it indicates division. So we're going to take our number of miles, 420, and divide it by our number of gallons, 12, to get the MPG. Now the other way that we can do this is simplify ourselves down backwards. So come to this table. You have this table that starts with the data we were given. If we jump back to 6 gallons instead of 12, what will happen with my 420? Keegan?
It will be divided into 2.
We divide it by 2, right? Which gets us what number? 210. We divide by 2. Going from 6 to 3, we divide by 2 again, and this becomes 105. Going from 3, ooh, wait.
0.
Oh, just if I burn 0 gallons of gas,
You have no gas.
well, we can't go anywhere, right?
Or you didn't go.
We did not go anywhere.
Or you burned your tank
Because
dry.
we're on that sheet, so obviously not working.
That's not good if you burn your tank dry.
Phoebe, go set up that desk because you're not looking either because we're filling. Oh, wait, no, never mind. We're okay. But yeah, we need to go get a different seat because you cannot see from there. You have 0 chance of seeing. If anybody else over there is struggling to see, we got another open desk. Sorry, I just made Juan move because he's sitting like beside me. Just doesn't work out very well. So choose one of these, whether you do it in your head or you do it in a calculator. Divide the amount of miles by the amount of gas. So whether you do 420 divided by 12 or 210 divided by 6 or 105 divided by 3, you should get the same answer. So extend this table one more. Extend your table out. You got space. I left space on your paper. Extend that table out. I got some people not extending their table. And we're going to fill that value in here, the result of that division. If you need to use your calculator, use your calculator.
Bless you.
Extend your table out so we can do one. table to do 1 gallon. Extend your table. Guys, I asked it like 8 times from the board, and I'm having to ask people individually. Extend your table. What did you get? Shout it out. 35. And guys, that's pretty darn good. My SUV that I drive, because it's an SUV, gets like 22. Like 22 to 24. Like if I'm driving on the highway, you get better. But 35 used to be good for a hybrid car. Now, hybrid vehicles, and this text is only like 3 years old, right? Now, hybrid vehicles, we're looking at miles per gallon of like 40 to 50.
Wow.
Yeah. So this, when you look at vehicles and you're talking about this with your parents and you're like, why don't we have a hybrid car? What? Now, hybrid cars are more efficient, but they're more expensive. It means, yes, but eventually the batteries become a thing. All right, so hold up. Hold on. Eyes. Who can tell me what we noticed about this graph based off what we've talked about over the past few days dealing with proportional relationships? Layla? Okay.
So for technically, we learned like that proportional relationships like have stuff to do with things that are evenly spaced out and things that like you can easily take apart and put together, like money, like proportional, whatever.
Yeah. So if I like,
all that stuff.
if I made these dots kind of tracing up or tracing over, they're like evenly spaced out. Right? I love what you said, evenly spaced. What do you notice about the line? Is it?
Oh yeah, you were talking about that. Thank you. So you made us draw a graph and like it's a straight line that goes through the graph.
Ooh, straight line that goes through the
Origin. Yeah.
So guys, this is not on your paper, but we're gonna draw a graph in a minute. When a situation is proportional, it's a straight line through the origin, right? Straight line through the origin. So if we were to graph Robert's situation, this is how it would look. Any questions? Now, if I got a lot of movement for just like me just wanting you guys to listen for a minute. If we didn't have a calculator and we couldn't do the math in our head, but we had a graph, you can find your unit rate by finding the x of 1, finding out where that dot is, and going over to the y-axis. So if you are only given the graph, guys, this might be like an end-of-year question, like on the park test or whatever they call it now. They might say, look at the graph and determine the unit rate. You just have to go to where x is 1 and go up and find your y value. Any questions at this point?
When will that happen? What if there's no one?
I mean, it's hard to know. We'll review for the test before we go there.
I mean, but what if there's like no one? Joey. What if he like?
All right, so graph paper. Graph paper. There would be a 1.
Oh.
So graph paper should be on top of your orchid sheet now. I shouldn't have people working on their homework. I should have everybody with their graph paper out because there's no more on the orchid sheet that is not your practice. Ooh, this was actually the other, like, we want to put the 420 on top and the denominator. So this is correct, but you want to flip both of them over when we're doing unit rate. All right, we're going to buy yogurt.
Why is your name Jelly Bean?
Because you can put jelly beans in your frozen yogurt.
Why is that a name? Why is that a name?
Why is Keegan a name? I mean, you can make whatever you want a name. Why is it like my name's from the Bible? I don't know. Like Jelly Bean is. Write this down. Jelly Bean charges, you don't have to write that, but what's under the highlighter, please write $32 for 5 pounds of dessert. So let's say we're planning a birthday party.
That's a lot. My birthday.
Right? We're going to plan a birthday party, and we're going to go to the frozen yogurt shop and buy some fancy frozen yogurt. We know their pricing model is proportional, meaning it changes equally, right? Like it changes the same each time. So I want you guys to figure out what is the unit rate for the ice cream here. And if we actually end up buying 13 pounds, what is that going to cost us? So take a minute, you're going to use your calculator on your graph paper. What's the unit rate? And then what would it cost if we bought 13 pounds? Yeah. I don't want the answer. Is it written down in your paper? Oh, look. Hey, has anyone found a binder or removed a binder that wasn't theirs? White?
Oh, it's white?
Sorry, man. We checked the family or lost and found. Huh? Might be.
Might want to put your name on it.
Yeah, that might help.
You might want to put your name on it.
Yes. So what you have written down is $32 for 5 pounds, right? So you want to figure out the unit rate of like what it costs per pound. Then what it would cost for 13 pounds. Now, as I walked around, I helped correct a couple of these things, but we want to make sure we talk about it all together. We can set up a proportion either way. We could put the pounds on top and the dollars on bottom, but when we do unit rates, it's the denominator that turns into 1. So if you want to talk about 1 pound, put pounds on bottom. If you want to talk about $1, you can do it. Just flip this and put dollars on bottom. How do we go from 5 pounds to 1 pound? Divide by 5, right? So we divide by 5 up here. What do we get? And for money, 40, right? So then we could make a table. So with me, I didn't ask you to do this, but please do it now. We're going to make a table that is pounds and dollars. And what we just determined is 1 pound is $6.40. So if we went to 2 pounds, it'd be $12.80, right? Because we double. What if we doubled that again and went to 4 pounds? We had the price for 5, but
It's 16.
No, 17.60.
Oh, what? What do you like 18?
Kaylin?
$25.60.
Yeah, double the 12, then double the 80, which carries over a 1. It's 20, what'd you say? $25.60. Now, what if we go to 13? Oh, why does 13 not work like the doubling, like we've been doing, all right? And not only it's not even, starts with a P. R. Amazon. Prime. It's prime, right? There's no other way to jump to it. So, hey, here's, give me your eyes. Even Maeve, give me your eyes. Even Maeve, give me your eyes. The reason we care about the unit rate is we can jump from the unit rate to any other amount we want by just multiplying by that amount. So once you have the unit rate, we could even solve, what if we buy 14.72 pounds? We would just multiply by 14.72, right? Like you just use whatever number you want. So we multiply by 13 here, and use your calculator because we love technology. sorry, 83. 83 what?
20 cents.
20. Questions. Because you know I'm going to ask you to do it on your own. Questions. There's one thing I am, it's predictable. Yes.
So then, let's say we're doing like a money problem and we use a calculator, and then like and we divide, and like the cents ends up being like 3 repeating.
You round it, yeah, round up. We
Okay.
pretty much always round up with money. Certain situations you might round down, but it's safer normally to round up. Yeah. That's a really good point. If you didn't hear it, Nick and I were just talking about it's safer to round money up, because then you'll like be more safe to have. Now, what if we're just given a partial table? So take a moment and copy this table. All you really need, you probably need to write out messages, or you could just do texts. You could just do texts.
Thank you for making it easy for us.
You're very welcome. I'm here to make your life easier. Maybe not in the short term. But so, when your parents get frustrated at you for never putting down that darn cell phone, they might ask questions like, how many messages did you even send? Or things like that. Now, Lexi, hey Lexi, claims that she can send 14 text messages in 22 minutes. Now, that doesn't seem all that fast, but she's writing a lot, right? She's dishing the tea. She's writing a lot in these text messages. So, yes. It's when you then send a text saying, I'm sorry how long that text was. Like,
Okay, so that means that
it's hard to use random cards today because
we're all here.
Morgan! Since you guys look like you're having a fun conversation back there, how could I figure out what goes in this empty box?
Well, what you can do first is you have to figure out how you got 14 and 22 and 7 and 11. And then what you're going to need to do next is you're going to need to 22 divided by 14 to get your answer.
We could. We could. So Morgan's telling me do the division, find the unit rate.
I got this.
We don't have to yet, actually, because this empty box, hey, gravity works, it's okay. This empty box doesn't need the unit rate. It's not the unit rate. Eric?
Just something I just noticed right now is that
Yeah,
it's the multiples of 7 paired with the multiples of 11 because like, you have 7 times 1 and then it's 7 and then you have 11 and like then you have 7 times 2 which is 14, 11 times 2 which is 22.
So hold up, tell me what to do.
Hypothetically, the answer
Hey, there's a lot of talking. It's pretty rude.
the answer she would send 35 texts in 55 minutes.
Because from here to here, what happens? It's a times 5. Yeah, by John Mayer.
Are we also gonna have to find the
Now, if her parents then say, well, how long does it even take you to send a text?
20 minutes?
No, we can solve. Like, don't just like shout something out. We can solve that. So our parents are like, how long does it take you to send one text? Take a moment, try to figure out what goes in this box. I'm a leaky tire. Hey, on your own.
I'm not doing anything. My feet have been there for the past 10 minutes. You kept on complaining that I'm doing something. I'm getting blamed for something like you're not doing.
And Maya, she looks bored. Maya, how do I figure out what goes in this box? What'd you do? What'd you look at? I got a lot of blue arrows there, but I don't know what to do. You said what? She says it's 11 divided by 7, which you're absolutely right. If I'm not shushing the cough, I'm shushing the talkers that are adding to it. If we want to go from the lowest numbers we have so far, we can go from the 11 and the 7. And Maya said, well, if we divide by 7 here, we divide by 7 here. So that's why it's 11 divided by 7. Now, if we make this into a decimal, it's 1.57. Now, hold up. That's sevenths. The 7 division, right, is kind of messy. So, if the parents asked, how long does it take you to send a text? About a minute and a half, right? 1.5, about a minute and a half. So 1.5, 1.6, you could round.
Does it take her a minute and a half to type the word hi?
She's very mindful about her text. She thinks about it. She puts emojis into it. All right, does that make sense?
Wait. So
Hey, she keeps resetting her question because I'm not going to be able to hear her.
Wouldn't it depend on how much like the message?
Oh yeah, every text would not actually be the same, but if we average things out. Yep. If we average things out. So, last thing we're going to do, calculate the unit rate for each of these. Now, I will do one of them for you, and I'll do arguably the hardest one. Let's do D first. If it was $7.50 for 5/6 of a pound of cheese. I want to cover these because it's on your homework. We're going to do these, and then we're going to get you back to science. Nope, not the giant one. The super giant one!
I don't want to be here
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Yeah! These are on the back. I forgot. Because I try to be nice. I may not be nice, but I try. He's mad that I'm being so loud inside, so I'm going to talk more.
you're always
You don't get that excited about the
that
super
was
giant
too
one?
loud. We love Common Core.
We all probably don't remember this, because I wouldn't have my first year learning this, right? The super giant one, I'll stop saying it after that, is a really good strategy, because it makes your work a lot easier. What that comes back to is remembering how we turn a fraction value into a value of 1, which was on homework for sure. I forget if I put it on a mastery already or not. Can anyone remember what we want to multiply a fraction by that will always result with 1? Araya? The what? Yeah, now it's actually called the reciprocal, but I love the nickname refliprical. Flip your fraction. Make it 6/5. That will turn the bottom into a 1. But we also have to do that in the numerator. So in your calculator, remember we said we're going to make the calculator do the hard work for us? You're going to type in 750 parenthesis, do this with me please and watch your partner if you're not the one with the calculator, 6 divided by 5, because that's the fraction 6/5. And that gives us 9, which means this is $9 for 1 pound. So, hold up. Let's see how quickly we can actually use this. If I go back up to my $4.20 for half of a pound of cheese, what would I multiply by here, right? Ooh, not a half. We gotta flip it first.
Oh,
Before...
no, it'll be 2 wholes.
Yeah, we're gonna multiply it by 2/1. So, I don't want to drag that. Well, I'll just clone it.
Drag.
Hey, yo, give me your eyes, real quick.
I would, but I'm kind of attached to them.
No, they're kind of attached to you. Here causes us to multiply by 2/1. We multiply the $4.20, so our answer ends up being $8.40 per pound. It gets more complicated, which is why I need you to stick with me. The $1.50 would be $1.50 over 2/3. So what do we multiply by? Right?
3 halves.
Yeah, we multiply by 3 halves. So times 3 halves on top, times 3 halves on bottom. Remember, the bottom is going to take care of itself and just turn into 1. So this is 1.5 times 3 divided by 2 in parentheses. What do we get here? 2.25. And then C, if we bring C down here, this would be $6 over 3/4 of a pound. What does that fraction need multiplied by in order to turn it? 4/3, right? So we multiply by 4/3. What's that get us for roast beef? $8 for 1 pound. So, hey, I'm still tweaking your mastery, and I feel like I should put a problem like this on there to see who was awake and aware today. When there's a fraction on the bottom, or after the per. Now, 4 is essentially the same thing as per, right? If it's $4.20 per half a pound, it's the same thing as 4 half a pound. When you have that fraction in the denominator, you multiply by its reciprocal. And really, you don't have to do it in the bottom. I mean, we do, mathematically we do it, but the only math you have to solve is the numerator. That's the only stuff you have to solve. So that's why we really don't need to use a supergiant 1. We just do it in the numerator. Questions? Egan. Supergiant 1 loudly again. Sorry, that was the dad. That was the dad joke.
If you do it, I'll give you 20 bucks. You're 40 years old.
You're gonna want to hear this. These are directions that involve location. I will wait till I feel like no one's gonna miss it. You from here may take a quick break, like use the restroom, get a drink, do whatever you need to do, but you need to take your stuff with you, because we had this issue yesterday when it was my bad, but I forgot. I teach 8th graders, remember? So our awkward schedule doesn't change what 8th grade's doing, and they still come to me. So it works out. I just forgot, and we had binders in here. So please take your stuff. You're gonna land, and whoa! You don't know where you're going yet. You're gonna land in your advisor's room unless your Estes or Cabilo, they're in the library, and my advisory will also be in the library because I'm gonna have math class. So Estes, Cabilo, Hudson, library, everybody else go to that classroom. So Gold Rings advisory, I'm gonna take care of it. Cullinan advisory, you're going Cullinan. Pettigrew. I think that's going home. This is my guess. Did you not look it up? Come here, I'll show you. If you had taken it upon yourself to Google this, you say, why is pounds Libra? It's from an actual word.
So then, we didn't come up with like an abbreviation for pound. We just wrote Libra, which is pound in Latin.
Libra would mean to balance, right? So there's an astronomical sign, like your zodiac might be Libra, and it is a picture of the scales, because Libra means like measure, scale, balance, weigh, like whatever. Like there are a lot of words that were synonymous. But remember, back in the ancient times, to weigh something meant to put it on a scale and put things on the other side until it balanced. So that's how you would weigh it. You would actually balance it. So that back then they wouldn't say, hey, can you weigh this? I mean, they might have said that, but it wouldn't be put it on a scale. It'd be put it on a level.
And you'd have to find like the exact.
Yeah. You'd put on gold pieces or metal pieces or whatever. Yeah. So that's why it actually has a meaning. It's not just us being dumb.